Welcome to Culmination, where we're not experts, but we sure have a lot to say. In the process of becoming our best self, I have with me the bassist Patrick Ma to discuss the art of not caring. Yes, you heard me say that. And with that said, let's get started. So, Pat, this is kind of a weird topic as we kind of discussed off recording, but why is it important to not care sometimes?
There's a variety of reasons why I think, just not caring can actually help you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what think about it this way, right? Let's say you're in an unfamiliar, social situation. Let's say a party of some kind,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you care too much about making first impressions, you can sometimes just come off disingenuous,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or here's another example. Um, I'm a bassist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I play a lot of jazz. Um, and one of the huge staples of jazz is soloing.
Right.
And soloing, if you don't know, is when half the band cuts out and you're the only one playing,
It's
save
just
for
you, baby.
it's just you with the drums, the bass, and maybe a piano.
Mm.
And you just have to make something up. Well, if you worry too much about what others think, you're gonna get stuck.
Right.
You're gonna get stage fright, and you're not gonna be able to play anything.
True.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that your first solo is always gonna be your worst, right? And I've been doing this for not a very long time, right? But it's generally very common for fellow jazz musicians to just say, hey, you know, um, we don't care, right? We don't care if it sounds good. We don't care if it sounds bad. The only thing we do care about is for you to actually play.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of the biggest examples, where not caring would help.
Right, yeah. Because, it's like, think about why you would care in that situation. I mean, it makes
Yeah,
a lot of sense. It's like, well, I don't want to mess up, or I want to get this really cool riff in. Like, there's a lot of emphasis on I need to care so I can get this right. But it's just weird how counterintuitive it is as a consequence, because you're focusing so much
right.
when, I don't know, you just might choke.
Exactly. Sometimes you just gotta turn your brain off.
Right, or at least just like feel the groove without like worrying too much.
I mean, another merit I think of just not caring is an extra step of an extra layer of bravery. You know?
Explain.
You know how like oh man, I don't want to come off as mean or something, but you know how idiots can sometimes be braver than the smartest people
Mm,
because they don't realize what's going on. Sometimes
yeah.
it's better to be the idiot.
Or
To
it's
keep
almost like naivety.
well, yes.
Two, one, two.
Yes, kind of, I guess.
Well, in the sense that it's like when you're naive and you versus like let me try to think of an example. Or like what if for some reason maybe you're like in the movie Saw or something. Or like
Right.
worst case scenario, you're just in this chamber and you're forced to do some parkouring across like a lava pit, and
Parkour. Okay.
you have to do like some intricate like jumps and stuff. And if you
Right.
mess up once, you fall into lava.
Right.
And it's like,
Has this
let's say
happened to you
there's,
before?
huh?
This sounds very specific. Has this happened to you before?
No, I'm just trying to think of something that works.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been in a chamber with this weird puppet dude talking to me on a monitor
Forcing
while
you to jump over
yeah,
lava. Yeah.
while I jump over lava. Yeah, it. Yeah, I was just lying before. This is kind of like a weekly occurrence for me. But anyway, there's like two people, right? And one guy is like the calculated, like, okay, I gotta make sure I get this jump perfectly and do this maneuver. And then there's the guy who all deemed the idiot, like you said, who's like, okay, I'm just gonna do some parkouring. And it's like
Right.
the calculated dude, it's like, sure, he's planning out every move, which seems smarter, but he has this like existential dread that if you mess up, you're going to die. So it makes
Right.
you a lot more nervous and less confident in your moves, while the idiot's just gonna like go and do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll let you go.
Oh. No, I was just gonna say like um yeah, no. I wasn't gonna say anything. Keep going.
All right. Well, it's like, neither of these two guys is exactly the right choice because, with naivety and the idiot, it's like he could just go and just make flawless, reckless mistakes. Like, that is very
Right.
possible. And because the other guy calculated everything, he can get it perfectly. So, this is not exactly an example saying that the fool or the idiot is exactly like better, but I mean, he's more likely to take the first step and he's more likely to go without having the fear, which is kind
Right.
of going along with your point.
No, here's the thing though. When I say not caring, I don't mean like legitimately just stop caring, right? Like
Mhm.
like complete apathy.
Yeah.
It just I just say stop caring so much.
Right.
Some people
two,
sometimes
two,
it'll feel like
four,
you're in a situation where failing will lead to the end of the world. You ever been in one of those situations, Casey?
Yeah.
It's like a test, and you're like, shoot, dude, if I fail this, I'm actually just gonna
Literally
not. Yeah, I will literally die.
die.
No, you won't. You might fail the class. I mean, but you still got like
And that's not good either, but like it's not the end of the world.
exactly. Like, I feel like you could live your life a lot less stressfully
Mhm.
if you just stopped caring so much.
Or at least when it comes to like the trivial aspects. Cuz I guess I feel weird kind of leaving that example just alone like that because you shouldn't stop caring about school. Like it has
100%.
consequences in the sense that it's like if you work really hard and try really hard, then you can make it very easily or just make it easier for yourself, especially in the
100%.
college
Yeah.
process. Huh?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but in
different
your
things. Yeah,
circumstance, yeah.
different things mean different things to different people.
Right. And there's that too.
And if your
Yeah.
tests mean a lot more to you, go ahead and care, because I'm sure
Mhm.
that'd be good for you. But also, don't be self-destructive over it.
Yeah.
Like you gotta take care of yourself.
That's true. And it's like I don't know, maybe the stress, because there's some amounts of good stress. Maybe the stress can just be on like yourself to make sure that you prepare, and less about if you fail or not.
Yeah, I'm no
Because
psychologist, by the way. Let me preface this.
yeah,
But yeah, keep going, Casey.
all right. Well, it's kind of like if you put the stress on yourself, then you will work harder and you will try your best.
Hmm.
And because you didn't put the stress on the results itself, then even if you fail, at least you'll be left with the satisfaction that you tried your best.
Right, right.
So I guess that's kind of the bottom line that we're kind of saying here. Like, don't put it, or I guess don't care about the trivial things or the things that you can't control.
Right.
Because, like, I guess in the end, you can't really control what the results are going to be. Maybe you make, I mean, even though you're manually taking the test, it's like you think you got it right, but maybe you didn't.
Right.
Or maybe there was a grading mistake. I don't know. But most
Yeah,
of the time, it's on
Mr.
you. But, you know,
Yeah. I
as long
mean,
as you don't place all that stress onto that, you should be good.
what?
Like, don't
Hey,
place
well,
the. What?
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 Mr. Houston, um, my chemistry. Am I allowed to mention names?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, well, Chad Houston, my chemistry teacher, um,
Saves
great
full name. You
teacher.
want to give his credit card information too?
Uh, all right, three
Kidding.
eight seven zero 289 5782.
Watch that actually be the information and you get like
No,
criminally sued.
I didn't even give the right amount of numbers.
It's true. And you didn't give the
Um,
wacky numbers on the back.
no, of course
Anyway,
not.
continue.
Yeah, I remember taking his class, his chemistry class. Absolute whale of a time, by the way. He We were looking at our grades, right? And
Yeah.
Mr. Houston just kind of like lectured us on why we should stop caring about our grades, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you spend so much time worrying about your grades, you're gonna worry about like how can I bump up these numbers, right? How
Mm-hmm.
what assignments can I do? You're gonna be so focused on actually like raising your grade that you're not gonna learn the content.
Yeah.
And same thing for Mr. Geyer. The only problem I have with this is that that'll only work for someone who really doesn't care about their grade, right? Like me, right? But like for someone whose grades matters a lot, um, yeah, that can kind of be very devastating. Which kind of brings me like to my next point, you know? When
Mm,
I say don't care, I'm talking about like things that'll only affect you, right?
right.
But if you're like clearly just disrespecting someone by not caring, that's a no-go, man. That's not cool.
Right. Right.
A good example would be like a group project. I remember way back in my sophomore year, I was doing this project and I remember not doing anything.
Huh. At least you're honest.
Well, okay, here. Honesty is the first step to improvement or something.
Or something.
I'm
I want to put that on like a billboard or something.
admitting your fault is the first uh step to solving it.
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah, you like that one?
I mean, it's good sentiment. I just thought like
Put that
I
on a
think.
t-shirt, Casey.
Show me that license, Pat.
Um, yeah, so
Go on.
basically, yeah, I didn't do anything, and I kind of felt bad about it because my my teammates clearly did.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, this is a I feel like this is more of a like a precautionary tale or something.
Uh,
Care too much. First the man takes the care, and then the care takes the man.
deep.
Uh,
Do you want to like elaborate more on that though?
First you care about something, and then um that care can kind of consume you, and you can become obsessed.
Hmm. That's a good point.
One good example is heroin. No,
Damn. All
I'm
right.
joking. I'm just playing. No. I mean, maybe there's some parallels here, but no,
Right.
we're not talking about heroin.
Yeah, I think that would be a little different than what we're trying to say here.
No, yeah, kids, listen, don't do heroin.
Don't do heroin. Don't think
Don't
about
don't do drugs. Stay safe. Stay in school, and don't do heroin.
it. And don't do heroin. So yeah, I guess you've been hammering in the points quite well. So I guess I'll just like say it again that not caring as in like I don't know, the things that are trivial like I said that are more of like not it's kind of like shifting your perceptions of things in a way that you're not becoming obsessive, you're not worrying too much when you would have been worried when you would have been worrying too much. Um but in terms of your example of the group project, it's like you probably should care about your act and how you behave around people because nobody wants to be disrespectful or the guy that everybody hates. And it's like, yes, this topic does cover like you shouldn't care what people think of you. But does that exactly, and I'll ask you this, like, does that exactly warrant bad behavior on your end?
Mm, no.
And I guess
Have
why not, as devil's advocate would say.
Why not?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like,
Like,
if we
why
don't care
not?
what people think of us, then why not just be an asshole?
Because here's the thing. You will never, ever not care about what someone thinks about you. No matter what you say, what you do, you will always care somewhat.
Mm. And that's fair, yeah.
Like, okay, there's this person I really hate, right? And I'm not gonna say his name,
Or his credit
um,
card information.
or his credit card information, right? And
Yeah.
I will say I honestly don't care about what he thinks about me or what he says about me. But
Yeah.
on some level, like on some very faint level, I probably do. You know,
Yeah.
it's just I think it's just a very human thing, right? Because
Mhm.
I'm here telling you to just stop caring. Well, that's just like me telling you to just stop being sad.
Yeah, right.
I like this is stupid. Like two dudes on the internet talking about how you should just not stop caring. Listen,
Yeah, stop caring.
if you're struggling with like obsessing too much, I'd recommend talking to a therapist.
Mhm. Or just somebody
Right.
you can trust too, of just like, I don't know, getting your feelings out, having someone to listen.
Well, if that doesn't work, try a therapist. Nothing will
Right.
beat professional help.
Mhm.
And
Although
yeah,
I will ask you, as this show is like, we're not experts, we're just trying to figure out the truth for ourselves here.
right.
Um, how how can we stop? How can we not care as much? Like we've been saying this, that brings up like a crucial point, so I'm glad you said that. Of like really we can talk all day on this and the point like does it really matter unless we break down how can we like what steps can we take to not care as much? Like
Okay.
like what do you do personally?
Me?
Yeah.
Um, I just learned that to not take everything so light, like I've just learned to stop taking everything so like seriously.
Personally. Yeah.
You know, like if it's like a serious situation, of course I'll take it seriously. But sometimes you got to recognize that some of this stuff really just doesn't matter,
Mhm.
right? Like I've had like okay, have you ever gotten mad over playing a video game?
Sometimes.
And yes, chances are if you're watching this video and you've played video games before, your answer is going to be yes.
Mhm.
And if you really think about it, it's kind of like, bro, you're getting mad over like a video game, right?
Mhm.
Turn this on to have fun. Now you're crying, but um
Or something like that.
or say Like, yeah. And at that point, you just gotta go, this is kind of stupid, you know? And
Hmm.
then just stop being so upset.
Right,
And if
because
you,
it's like you have to prioritize what really matters. It's like, does this
right.
like if this is like if I'm playing that shooting game Valorant and like all the time and it doesn't bring me any actual joy because like I hate the player base, I hate like literally it just drives me bonkers. Like what's the point? Like am I really
Right.
getting any value out of this? Is my
You're,
anger worth playing the game? And at that point it's like why should I care about this? I think
yeah,
that's kind of a big thing too. It's just like in order to understand the art of not caring, you have to think about why do you care about some things?
exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And okay, for a game of Valorant, right? I'm just gonna use this example because Valorant's like the biggest game on the market probably, and I play it a lot.
It's the hottest
It's
game
the
on the market.
hottest game. Listen, guys, add me on Valorant Bisector M1672. Anyway,
Link in
so
the description. Alright, go on.
um so I think a good reason why you'd get mad at a game of Valorant is because the games last forever. And whenever you put a lot of effort into winning. So when you lose, you feel like all that effort's gone to waste,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah.
what if it wasn't about the end result, but the journey? What
What?
if the real Valorant was was the friends we made along the way? I don't know.
Well, I know you're wait, I'll save this metaphor because like even though it sounds cliche, it's like think about it. You or at least from my experience as an outsider, like I don't play that game, but I see you
Oh,
guys like on the Discord server and like you've got 10 people playing that game all at once. It's
oh
like
man,
that's kind of miraculous like seeing how you got all of these people like your good friends, maybe even like your bestest of friends playing
right?
this same game. And it's like even though the game itself might drive you bonkers, it's like I don't know, isn't it worth it not just to use the cliche as the journey, although it's still applicable? I'm just trying
Yeah.
to give specific examples. It's like you're playing with friends, you're having a good time with them. You
Mm-hmm.
probably you probably did something cool, like a what did the kids say? Like a
What do the
360 no
kids
scope.
say? A clutch, a one tap.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe you. Yeah. Well, okay.
All
Sorry.
right.
There is
Yeah.
something going on outside my room.
Oh.
There's
Um.
okay. Well, okay. So if you spend so much time, right,
Yeah.
and effort okay, so you saying custom game brings me back to a couple nights ago where I was on a team and I was facing off against another team. And I okay, there were 5 people on my team and only 3 of them actually cared about winning,
Mm,
right? And that was me and 2 other guys, and the other 2 were just goofing off.
yeah.
And boy, did that not feel good, right?
Uh,
Because like, oh man, when you're when you care and someone else doesn't care, that feels awful,
Kind of goes back to that group project you talked about earlier.
right? But then
Like,
like on the
yeah.
other team, they all didn't care and they still won.
Oh,
Bro, that's
ew.
even worse.
Yeah, that is kind of bad.
All right, that's just an anecdote. There's probably no depth there.
Well, I mean, there's probably some depth there. I mean, like I said with the group project, it kind of answers that question we threw out there earlier of
Right.
like if we're trying not to care about what people think of us, like why does that matter how we behave? And it's like, well, I mean, now you have with this you might say pointless anecdote, like because you've experienced how it feels to care about something, and you've been on the other end basically with
Hmm.
people who don't care. It kind of reminds you of a time where you didn't care and maybe somebody cared about the group project or they cared
Right.
about like doing well in the class. Um, it's like now you have this more well-rounded understanding of the situation and maybe you have to act accordingly just so I don't know, like you don't bother people in that way.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna flip the channel real quick.
Hmm.
I I'm trying to run a jazz combo, right?
Yeah.
And one of the most difficult things about getting a group together is people caring.
Ugh.
Ugh, no. Um, and this is reflected every single time you try to get a group together, right?
Mhm.
Because within a group, there will always be people who care more than others,
Yeah.
and there will be some people that just join the group because they're friends with you, right?
Mhm.
Not because they're actually expecting anything, or they like the game or something,
Yeah.
Valorant. Um, but it's difficult to run a group when no one cares, right?
Mhm.
So how do you get
Especially
people
when
to
you're the one
care?
running it.
Yeah. How do you get people to care? Well, one of the things you can do is just get them to actually like the thing that you're doing, right?
Mhm.
For example, for the jazz thing, we just picked a bunch of songs that people actually liked,
Yeah.
right? And I guess for Valorant, we didn't get anything to get the group together, so that one kind of fell apart. And I think for you, Casey, with your baseball thing, what
Mhm.
you did was you got pizza for everyone, and now everyone's showing up.
No, well, okay, to be fair, I don't think it's as simple as that. And for some context, I play baseball with my friends, including Patrick, every Friday. And, each week people try to make it when they can, but they either have jobs or they're on vacation or they broke their finger or something.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, and it gets a little hard on me and Patrick and I have talked about this a little off recording just because we're in the same boat in a sense like two activities where we're kind of the ringleader of it all like setting it up, making sure it happens and
Right.
having to deal with the management consequences of people not showing up. And like baseball especially is very obnoxious cuz you need for a solid game, you need to bring 14 people. 14 for like a 7v7. I mean, you
And
can do a comfortable like 12 people 6v6, but like
right.
the ideal is 14. And that's just hard to do, especially in a summer where, it's like quarantine's basically over and people are just like dying to get out of the state or the country or something. Like
Right.
just for like a bit, like it's the summertime, they want to do stuff. So I get that. Um and this Friday, at the time of recording this tomorrow, is my birthday, so I figured it's like, hey, I'll reward them with some pizza. And it's like
Reward.
I mean, well, yeah, like for all my bullying in the group chat, try to
Right.
get people to come. But I mean, a lot of people can come just because that's how the natural schedule was, which is nice. And
And
I
the
wouldn't
rent.
exactly say that's the pizza, but I mean, sometimes you have right sentiment there, like
Yeah.
sometimes people do need a little push sometimes.
That well, yeah. It's very clear that you care about this a lot. And
Yeah.
one person caring a lot can really kind of bring things together.
Well, I'm
Um,
glad to hear that.
I remember my sister, when I was choosing her major, uh, she like she had this program in her school basically where she talked to like professors of different majors,
Uh-huh.
and the food science major was just very impassioned, right?
Mhm.
Like it was clear that he cared a lot, and that was very infectious for my sister,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But man, how do you do that,
What do you mean, how
right?
do you do that?
How do you become like impassioned or like so like to care like you care about your subject enough to like invite someone over to your side just through like sheer excitedness.
I think you just have to really like, I know this sounds obvious, but you just have to really love what you do.
Yeah,
Like you have to love putting together your jazz band because you love playing music with people. You love
right.
improvising. You love the craft, you love the people, you love the music, you love the activity, you love the memories. Like you have to love every aspect of it. And for me it's like
Yeah,
you have to love getting everybody together, all your friends, um reaching out to those who probably might not have ever thought about picking up a bat or a glove before, and
right.
you just get out to that field every Friday when it's like a beautiful day and
When
honestly
it's a
it's like,
beautiful day.
yeah, like last week it was like you know we've either had to cancel because of rain, and it's been raining a lot this summer, which is very obnoxious, um or we haven't had enough people, so it turned into like a small like 6-person practice. um but when you finally get that game, like last week, we had like 13 people, so I mean it's a little awkward, so we just had an all-time outfielder.
Mhm.
But it was just a nice day. We couldn't use the field itself because it rained, but we used like a grass field that worked just fine.
Mhm.
And we made it work, and everybody had fun, and we had those insane plays, like a triple play and one
Right.
guy who came for the first
Oh,
time.
Addy.
Huh?
Did Addy get the triple play?
Addy get the triple play, yeah.
Hey, let's go.
Um, and Kevin, who was on the status episode of the show, he came for the first time, and he just got a grand slam. And if you don't know what that means, it's a home run when all of the bases are loaded. So it's like the best play you could have gotten, and it was just so many awesome moments like that. And I don't know, like even though Patrick, I had to suffer for like an entire month of like, sorry, I can't do that. And most of the time it was like they would tell me an hour before we would get out there,
Right.
or it would rain inexplicably. Like, uh, my friend Eric, who was on the assertiveness episode of this show, he was like gonna check out one of the other parks we were gonna go to see if like it was dry enough. And as soon as he went into his car, it started raining. And it's like, dealing with busy schedules and all that, it sucks, man. It is
It
soul
really
crushing
does.
sometimes. But to finally get that game, and for me, I felt a more like intrinsic like passion behind it because I wanted not only to have this game, but I wanted everybody there to witness the true like experience. And I'm
Right.
so glad above all that they got it. Like this is what the dream was, and it came true.
And well, you really it seems like you really do care about that. God
Yeah.
damn.
Which is kind of funny because I think this is probably the most passionate I've been on this show, and it's on the not caring episode.
Hey, you know what? On one side, you have not caring, but in order to not care, you also have to care.
Well, that's the thing, Pat. It's like I guess to tie back to the actual topic, I had to learn to not take it personally.
Yeah,
Like when people
100%.
are busy, and also like one easy thought trap to fall into is like, oh, well, they just don't care anymore. Like
Right.
they don't give a shit, or maybe it's like they have no respect for me for like putting this together. It's like, those are the little thoughts in the back of your head, and it's
Right,
like,
little insecurities.
yeah, or it's like, dude, come on. Like he literally said he had work because they're understaffed.
Right.
And everywhere's understaffed right now. And so
Yeah.
it's like you can't get mad at that. And you can tell that it's blatantly false because they come another week. So
Right. Yeah.
the fact that they would come at all means that
They
They
do
still care, guys.
yeah, exactly.
If you utterly didn't care, you wouldn't come at all. Um,
And yeah,
yeah.
again, to be clear, apathy is bad, and caring too much is also can be detrimental to your health.
Right. I think in an instance like how I explain my passion, it's not one of those examples.
Right.
But,
Because
like,
you
think about, like, a relationship for an example, when you care so much about the partner that they can do nothing wrong and you're just kind of in an abusive relationship without seeing it.
well, jeez, all right.
What, you just, like,
Like,
probably drop that on you?
no, it's just like, damn, okay.
Again, this
Uh,
is not, like, a personal experience, I just literally made it up.
oh, no, I completely thought that you were in an abusive relationship
No.
just from the way you said that.
No, I've been single for, like, a year.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry, Casey, I know.
I know.
Um,
I guess that is kinda weird how blunt I just dropped that, but yeah.
I mean, okay, that's a really serious subject.
Well, I meant it in a serious way, but, like, it wasn't personal. I was just like I mean, think about it, you know?
Well, I don't. Okay, listen. Again, if you're in an abusive relationship, professional help will help you.
Or try to, like, communicate, I guess, or just get out of it.
Well, that's what. Yes.
It depends on the situation, though.
Uh. Yeah. It really does.
We're not experts, guys.
And we're not experts. We're just looking to improve ourselves.
Guys, it's so amazing playing baseball on an amazing day. Oh, yeah, you're stuck in an abusive relationship and
Oh
you
my
still
God,
really love
Casey.
them and you care too much, yeah.
Okay. Well. Yeah. Uh.
Yeah. So, anyway,
It's
I
all
feel
about
like
balance.
what was that?
All about balance.
All about balance.
Yep.
Um, so anyway, I feel like I've been talking a lot as of the past few minutes, so
You want me to say something?
yeah, but I'm trying to think about what. How about like give
Nah,
me like a
bro.
story of your own that's like things that you had to care about, things that you do care about, but also maybe instances where you learned to not care or when not caring was helpful.
All right. Well, that's an easy one. You ever? School is a place where I learned to not care.
All right.
Right? Listen. Here's what they do with you. Right? They they throw you a bunch of problems, and they just expect you to hang on for dear life. You know? And
Mhm.
if you're struggling to hang on for dear life, just get those grades up. I feel like
Yeah.
you're just gonna be in for a really bad time. Right?
Yeah.
Like, take it easy, learn the content, and if your grade goes down, yeah, you should probably bump that up. But
Mhm.
don't care about it, like, don't make it your life goal. You still got, like, a life after high school,
You do?
probably.
I just wanted to throw you off guard for a second.
I mean, like, yes. Sure, well, okay, unless... Never mind.
Mhm.
One thing I care a lot about, music, right?
Yeah.
It's always been easy for me to communicate to others when I'm like talking about music or something of that sort. So, um, I'd say that if you're making a group, it's best not to force it, right?
Mhm.
Because one time I made a music production club, right?
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
yeah, because the process of making it was rather simple, right? My freshman year, I was in this little class called music tech, and I could tell that there was some interest for like a little club where we just made music after school.
Mhm. See a need,
And
fill a need.
yeah, and throughout the my a couple of years I asked like who was interested, and like that was super easy to make the club because I knew who was interested and I could tell that they were all super duper interested.
Yeah.
Um, a situation where I don't think that panned out very well is like Valorant, right? Having a 10-man or a group of 10 people playing Valorant at the same time can be fun. Um, but it's difficult to get enough people on at the same time because people care about it in varying degrees, and there's only like around people who play that game regularly,
Yeah.
so it can be a little difficult.
Mhm. And
And
yeah.
yeah,
People are playing the game, like, some people are playing it just for fun or maybe just because their friends are playing it.
right.
Some people are like, "I really wanna get good at this game," like, competitively. Um, some people are like all of the above, and they can just kinda shift moods, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You're probably like that, right?
Probably like what shift moods,
Like, you can play the game just to have fun sometimes, but you can also play the game with people who are, like, very competitive and just, like, get
right?
into that zone.
The competition is the fun, by the way. For people who
Yeah.
are like, "Oh, I thought your whole goal was not to care." No, no, the goal is to care.
But what
Uh,
if you don't care? What if you are
what if
just
you don't
playing the
care?
game?
Get out of my comp, dude. I don't want people who don't care on my team.
My god, dude.
I'm joking. I'm joking, half joking. Please
Have
don't
to
do.
Freudian slip.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah. What was I talking about?
I don't know, but let's, I guess we can kinda move forward here. So another topic that I just kinda wanna cover here is, like, the idea of letting things go. Because in a sense, not caring is similar to that, but do you wanna, like, differentiate it?
Between what? Like not
Like
caring
like,
and
not
caring?
caring and letting things go, like, the difference there.
Not caring and letting things go. Hmm. Okay. Have you ever had this moment, or have you ever had these things where you look at them and you're like, "Man, I really need this," and then you only use it like once every
Yeah.
like 2 years?
Yeah.
Completely non-essential. Like like at that point, you could throw it away,
Mhm.
but that depends on how much like you value that object. You know what I'm saying? Because okay, hoarders,
Right.
right? They hold on to objects forever, right?
Mhm.
But I just for me, right? I just think of my mind as like kind of like a house, you know. You kind of want to let things go so you can put more things in.
Huh. It's a good metaphor.
Yeah, and uh, if you're ever holding a grudge, don't, because that you are actively clouding up your mind for someone you don't like,
Right.
right? That's stupid. Stop. Don't hold grudges.
Well, and also to elaborate on that, just to prevent it from sounding like, "Just don't do that, bro. Like,
Yeah,
stop being
just don't
fat."
do it. Just
Yeah.
stop. Just stop doing it. You know,
Yeah.
easy.
Um, but I mean, think about it this way. I think or the way to stop is evaluate your situation. So what is this grudge and why do I have it on this guy? Then think about the guy's situation. It's like maybe he's mean to me, or maybe he's like maybe he did this thing because I don't know, maybe he had like I don't know, like everybody has their own crap to deal with. So maybe he had some of that he probably had some crap to deal with himself. So that might have led him to do something impulsive that made you hold a grudge. So you have to
Right.
think about it like that, like kind of
Empathy.
yeah, empathy, the humanity behind it. It's like maybe I don't
Yeah.
know. And when you take all these things into consideration, it's like instead of holding a grudge, it's like maybe it was something really bad done to you. Maybe it's completely unforgivable if you think about it. Like maybe they like shattered a vase that was given to you from your grandma or something,
Oh,
and it was like one of a kind, you know?
maybe they shattered your grandma's urn.
Yeah, or something like that. Like even more serious. It's like
Yeah.
it is unforgivable, but I don't know. In a sense, I'm
Sometimes it's
almost
not their
wondering if,
fault.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
Or like if forgiveness is itself is almost like a form of quote unquote not caring because it's like obviously you care about it, but
Mm-hmm.
either mistakes happen or I don't know, you were just in a fight and they regret it. Like who knows if they regret it? Maybe they do. Maybe they maybe they're afraid to look you in the eyes and admit to what they did. Like
Right.
there's some shocking fear there and everything. And
Uh-huh.
so why that? Why the
What? No, I'm not. I'm just saying, yeah. I'm
uh,
saying okay. I'm saying
uh,
like, yeah.
okay. It just sounded kind of inappropriate for that moment.
What?
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to tell sometimes.
Okay, right. Because
You're
we're
all
over the
good though. I'm
internet.
not gonna hold a grudge against you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
There you go. See, I
There,
tied it
see,
back.
look, now we're on good terms.
Yes.
And now Casey doesn't have to worry about. Wait, now I don't have to. Wait, now we don't have to worry about like one of us like stabbing the other person in the back or something. I don't know.
Yes. Or I don't know. You know, it's kind of like your house metaphor. There's not enough. There's a finite amount of space in that house.
Right. And
Um.
if you're looking for closure, uh, closure is a good way of getting things out of your house space.
Mhm. But what is that closure? It's like I
Closure.
think a lot of people think vengeance, but is that really? That's more vindication. That's baseless
Yeah,
than
I'm talking about
closure.
closure as in like talking to them, seeing what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's constructive.
that's actually constructive. Unless like I don't know, maybe you hurt someone and talking to them is gonna hurt them more. You
Mhm.
know, don't do that.
Yeah, I guess see, yeah, this is a very there's a lot of situations that have nuances, but
Life is complicated.
it is complicated.
And that's why you should just
Um,
not care sometimes.
honestly, yeah, because you can't let things crush you all the time. It's like instead of holding a grudge, it's like time always moves forward and you're always placed with more obstacles. And it's like, do you really want to deal with the obstacle of what happened to you 5 years ago that you can't sleep because of that? Or the thing you did, perhaps? Um,
Hmm.
like in a time where things are so different. Maybe you like said something really mean to a friend you used to have, but 5 years later you don't even talk to them anymore, and you have all these other problems to deal with. It's like,
Right, like 99 problems, but like, why would you make them another one? You know?
yeah, exactly. That's like the whole sentiment to that whole like tagline.
Yeah.
It's just
eh,
you got to move forward.
Yeah. Well, got anything else to say, Casey?
Um, I don't know. I mean, we're not overtime, but we're
Slightly
almost close
under.
to the end. So, Pat,
Yeah.
we've had a lot of good
I don't
points.
care. Yo. Hey.
There it is.
There it is,
See you guys
boys.
next week. I'll talk to you
Bye
later.
bye.
Never mind. But we've had a lot of great points, but I want to make sure that we kind of centralized it because it felt like every time we started talking about something, it was like we opened up a box of like, oh wow, there's a lot here, and it's hard to do this justice in under 1 hour or less. But what do you think is the? Give us the main takeaway.
Main
Bring us
takeaway.
home. Bring us home.
Here's the main takeaway. If you ever find yourself caring too much about something, stop caring so much. Well, That's one way to say it. I don't know. I think the moral of the story here is that caring too much can be destructive. Caring too little is very bad for you, and it's hard to get other people to care.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't have anything to say. I don't have any big ideas here.
Yeah.
Other than if you really need help, check a therapist out.
Like your tagline.
I don't know, man. Look, I'm not a professional. I'm just a guy that has like.
Well, right. We're not like. The show's not meant to preach. It's just kind of like a conversation between me and you, and people just listen in. Although I find it funny because you said to me like before we recorded the other day, I was like, I'm gonna be real with you. I haven't really listened to any of the episodes, and I'm like, that's fine, but and then you elaborated saying like, I feel like whenever I listen to my friends speaking, it's like they ask questions and I'm supposed to answer it.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, Pat. Maybe you just need to not care and listen to my episodes. Listen to
I think
45 of my episodes.
Listen, if there's a podcast that I'd listen to,
it's Culmination. And with
Culmination
that said,
Station, boys.
Thank you for listening, everybody. And I'll see you guys next time. This has been the Not Caring episode, and frankly, I do not give a flying